Welcome everyone. Lecture number 32, Statistics. The topic of discussion is sampling distribution of difference between two population proportions. In my last lecture, I have told you about sampling distribution of difference between two population means. We have also seen two numerical problems based on that. So let's start today's lecture on sampling distribution of difference between two population proportions. So let me tell you what we are going to discuss in this lecture. First of all, we will see the construction of sampling distribution of difference between two population proportions. कैसे construct होता है ये? And next we'll see a numerical problem. Okay. So as I have discussed in my last lecture about sampling distribution of difference between two population means, तो वहां पे हमें दो population consider की थी to construct that distribution. Same is the case here. यहाँ पर भी हम दो population consider करेंगे. Suppose this is a population number 1 with proportion of particular characteristic in this population is suppose denoted by capital P1. This is called population proportion. And we have here second population and population proportion of that particular characteristic is denoted by P2. Proportion means percentage, okay, or a number you can say. We have drawn a sample from this population. Sample number 1 with size N1, and the proportion of that characteristic in the sample is denoted by P1 cap. Similarly, here we have drawn a sample number 2 of size N2 and sample proportion, हम एक ही कैरेक्टरिस्टिक की बात कर रहे हैं इन सब चीजों में जिसका proportion हम देख रहे हैं. Remember that both of these samples are independent of each other. Okay. Then what we do is then find the difference between two sample proportions that is P1 cap minus P2 cap. इसकी वैल्यू हम फाइंड आउट करेंगे. Similarly, draw another sample from both populations and calculate the value of P1 cap minus P2 cap. नोटेशन मैंने सेम रखा हुआ है, डोंट बी कंफ्यूज, दिस वैल्यू इज फॉर द सेकेंड सैंपल. ओके, सो द collection of values, different values, ये values different मिलेंगे आपको. We should write different values of P1 cap minus P2 cap so obtained for each sample from each sample pair drawn from population 1 and population 2 respectively is called sampling distribution of difference between two population proportions. ओके, तो ये जो हमें डिफरेंट वैल्यूज मिली हैं किसकी, P1 कैप माइनस P2 कैप की. P1 कैप क्या है, P1 कैप है हमने जो पॉपुलेशन से सैंपल लिया है उस सैंपल का प्रपोर्शन, उस सैंपल में पर्टिकुलर कैरेक्टरिस्टिक का प्रपोर्शन. इसी तरह से P2 कैप क्या है, सैंपल नंबर 2 में उस पर्टिकुलर कैरेक्टरिस्टिक का प्रपोर्शन. ओके, तो इन वैल्यूज के कलेक्शन को हम सैम्पलिंग डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ डिफरेंस बिटवीन टू सैंपल प्रपोर्शंस कहते हैं. ये डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन नॉर्मल होता है शेप में. ये डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन नॉर्मल कब होगा, इफ n1 p1 greater than 5 and n2 p2 is greater than 5. Distribution of sample proportions, it is sample proportions, distribution of difference between, should write difference, distribution of difference between two population proportions is normal and mean is given by, इस डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का मीन क्या होगा, म्यू p1 कैप माइनस p2 कैप is equal to म्यू p1 कैप minus म्यू p2 कैप. म्यू P1 कैप क्या है, किसका मीन है, ये सैम्पलिंग डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ सैंपल प्रपोर्शंस का मीन है, और ये किसके बराबर होता है, ये कैपिटल P1 के बराबर होता है, एंड दिस इज इक्वल टू कैपिटल P2. So this is the mean of sampling distribution of difference between two population proportions. And variance. Variance is given by sigma P1 cap minus P2 cap sigma P1 cap plus sigma square P2 cap. This is what the variance of sampling distribution of sample proportions, which is equal to N1, P1 Q1 upon N1, and this is equal to P2 Q2 upon N2. So standard deviation is given by P1 cap minus P2 cap is equal to square root of P1 Q1 upon N1 plus P2 Q2 upon N2. Okay. So to understand this more, let's take one example. %10 of machines produced by company A are defective. कंपनी ए के द्वारा जो मशीन प्रोड्यूस की जाती हैं उनमें 10% मशीन्स कैसी हैं, डिफेक्टिव, एंड 5% of those produced by company B are defective. ठीक है, कंपनी बी जो मशीन्स प्रोड्यूस करती है उनमें 5% मशीन्स डिफेक्टिव होती हैं. A random sample of 250 machines is taken from company A and a random sample of 300 machines is taken from company B. What is the probability that the difference in sample proportions किस चीज का proportion, डिफेक्टिव मशीन्स का, दोनों सैंपल्स में जो डिफरेंस मिलेगा proportion में वो लेस देन होगा less than or equal to 0.02. मतलब you are asked that कि हम सैंपल्स में जो डिफेक्टिव मशीन्स का प्रोपोर्शन देखेंगे वो डिफरेंस प्रोपोर्शन में जो डिफरेंस मिलेगा वो 0.02 से कम होगा या इसके इक्वल होगा, इसकी क्या प्रोबेबिलिटी है। तो सबसे पहले हम ये नोट करते हैं कि हमें क्या गिवन है क्वेश्चन में। हमें पॉपुलेशन प्रोपोर्शन गिवन है पी ए, यानी कंपनी ए जो मशीन प्रोड्यूस करती है उनमें डिफेक्टिव मशीन का प्रोपोर्शन कितना है 0.10, और कंपनी बी जो मशीन्स प्रोड्यूस करती है उनमें डिफेक्टिव मशीन्स का प्रोपोर्शन कितना है 0.05। Sample size here is 250 and here it is 300. You can use A or B also here in place of 1 and 2. So we check N1PA का product greater than 5 है या नहीं. So it is greater than 5. And N2PB is also greater than 5. So we can say sampling distribution of difference between two sample proportions is normal in shape. With mean of such distribution is given by PA minus PB, which is equal to 0.1 minus 0.05, which is equal to 0.05. And variance is given by P1 Q1 upon N1. So we use A here plus PB QB upon N2. So this is equal to 0.1 into 0.9 divided by 250 plus 0.05 into 0.95 divided by 300. This implies sigma P1 cap minus P2 cap will comes out to be 1.258. We are asked the probability that P1 cap minus P2 cap will be less than or equal to 0.02. So we convert this into Z variable by subtracting P1 minus P2 or AB, sorry, you can use AB here, divide by sigma P1 cap minus P2 cap. Here we subtract 0.05 and divide this value by 1.258. So this comes out to be probability P1 cap minus P2 cap is less than or equal to 0.02 is equivalent to probability that Z is less than or equal to minus 0.02. When you solve it, you will get this value. So we draw the sampling distribution of difference between two population proportions. Here Z is equal to 0 and here Z is negative. So we have to find this area. So this is equal to 0.5 minus the area between minus 0.02 and 0, which is same as 0.5 minus the area between 0 and 0.02. We look in the table, standard normal table, that gives you the value of 0.008, and this is equal to 0.508. That's all. This is the answer. थैंक यू वेरी मच. अगर आपको मेरा लेक्चर समझ में आया हो, पसंद आया हो, तो उसे लाइक शेयर जरूर कीजिएगा और मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करना मत भूलिएगा. थैंक यू वंस अगेन.